everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is going to be a fall meal prep. I'm making 2 different dinners as well as a third meal that's actually a freezer meal. And then we're gonna top it all off with dessert because I'm making cupcakes. So if you guys are ready for the cooking, let's jump right into it. So the first thing we're gonna start off with is the butternut squash filling, and you're just gonna add 2 cups of butternut squash to a food processor. It should already be cooked and pureed. Then 1 cup of ricotta cheese, a cup of milk, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So to the spinach mixture, I'm gonna add a cup of ricotta, a cup of mozzarella, 2 cloves of garlic, and some salt and pepper. Okay, so the way you're gonna do the filling is you're gonna start with the butternut squash mixture, and you're gonna do a layer of butternut squash, mozzarella, noodles. Then move to the spinach mixture, go spinach, mozzarella, noodles, then back butternut squash, mozzarella, noodles, spinach, and keep going till you get to the top. You're gonna finish with the butternut squash layer, add some mozzarella, parm, and spices, and you're done. So here we go. You'll see I kind of alternated the way that I was laying the noodles, vertical versus horizontal. And near the top couple of layers, I did run out of noodles. And I don't know if it's because of the direction that I laid them, but for some reason, every time I make lasagna, it's never quite perfect, but that's totally fine. I'm gonna show you how incredibly easy this chicken wild rice soup freezer meal is. I'm just gonna start by labeling the freezer bag first. That's something I always do whenever I'm making a freezer meal, so you don't forget what it is, and you know all of the cooking instructions right on the Ziploc. And then I'm gonna start to fill it up with everything, stick it in the freezer, and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna label it. now that I've added about a pound of chicken breast, I'm gonna add in the rest of the ingredients. So you need about 3 cups of chopped carrots, chopped onions, and chopped celery. 8 ounces of mushrooms. A cup of wild rice. Teaspoon of salt. 3 cloves of garlic. And then a teaspoon of mixed seasoning. You can do sage, thyme, rosemary, any combination of the 3. And finally, 4 cups of chicken or vegetable stock. And that's it.
For this next meal, I decided to go nice and easy with a sheet pan meal, and I wanted to do sweet potatoes because for some reason those always make me think of fall, and I'm going to toss in some Brussels sprouts as well. And the lemon tahini dressing that you'll see me make in a little bit is a great way to add a little bit of light, bright flavor with all of that lemon. I'm just cubing my sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to slice my Brussels sprouts by just cutting off the ends and then cutting them in quarters or halves depending on how large they are. Now this could really be a great side for any meal that you want to make, but I decided to do both salmon and some chicken thighs just to show you that you can pair it with multiple different things. I'm giving everything a good drizzle with olive oil. Then I'm just going to add some garlic powder and paprika to the salmon and chicken. Cover everything with some salt, pepper, and then parsley. Now it's time for the tahini sauce. You are going to add to your bowl half a cup of tahini, the juice of 1 lemon, some parsley, and some garlic. Add in your olive oil and salt and mix together. And keep in mind that it will be pretty thick, so you're going to want to add a little bit of water to thin it out.
So So to start these pumpkin ginger cupcakes, I'm just gonna add my butter and sugars and cream them together, followed by eggs and a can of pumpkin. So we're gonna do 1 cup of regular white granulated sugar, a cup of brown sugar, and a cup of butter. So now I'm just gonna add in some of the dry ingredients. I have a tablespoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Then I'm gonna add in butterscotch pudding mix and 1/3 cup of crystallized ginger. Now that that's kind of combined, I'm gonna add 2 cups of flour slowly to the mixture.
I decided to go with orange cupcake liners because why not when you're making pumpkin ginger cupcakes? So I'm just gonna scrape everything off of the beater attachment that I can and just use a measuring cup to try and fill up all of the paper liners as evenly as I can. I would like to get a cookie scoop. I know it makes it so much easier. So that is definitely on my list of cooking gadgets that I would like to have. Let me know in the comments below if you guys make cupcakes or muffins ever. Have you ever flawlessly executed it without getting any on the outside of the muffin tin? Because I always leave some glob at some point somewhere on the muffin tray. Now it's time for the frosting, and for this frosting, all you're gonna do is cream your butter with some vanilla, a little bit of milk, and powdered sugar. And you can see me just making a mess all over with the powdered sugar. You definitely could stop your mixer and that would prevent some of the mess that I'm making, but I was in a groove and just moving along. When the cupcakes are done, make sure that you let them cool. If you ever put frosting on the top of a cake or a cupcake when it's still warm, you'll see it just completely melts. So I'm gonna use a piping bag with a little tip on it, and I want it to keep that pretty design. So I want to make sure that it's cool and doesn't melt that frosting. So what I love about these piping bags and all of the different tips that I have on them is that in the middle of the frosting process, if I'm not liking what the tip is looking like, I can just unscrew it, screw on a different tip, and completely change the look of the frosting I'm putting on top of the cupcake. And I really was not liking the first tip that I used. It was way too small and was really honestly hard for me to get that frosting out and look pretty. So I found a tip that was just a little bit bigger and it went much faster and looked the way I wanted it to. The original recipe in the image had a little bit of crystallized ginger on top of the cupcakes, which I think would look really nice there. And I like the taste of crystallized ginger. Of course, there's that crystallized ginger in the inside, so it would be a great topping, but I ran out. I used the entire thing in the cupcake. So I am just gonna sprinkle on a little bit of pumpkin pie spice.
So that is it for my fall meal prep. Everything looks so good. I have my freezer meal waiting for another time that I want an easy dinner, something nice and cozy. I can just stick it in the crock pot. But for now, I have quite a bit of food prepped. We have some delicious cupcakes. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, hit that notification bell, and until next time, I will see you guys later.